So the next application is we are going to integrate Spring Boot data with the Postgres backend, right? So here the very first thing is you need to check with the required dependencies. So far in a Spring Boot applications, we are starting with the Spring Boot starter web and the Spring Boot starter parent, right? Apart from that, the new dependency we need to connect with the database is called, okay, Spring Boot starter data JPA. So in the core module, we have learned with JPA, which is a Java persistence API to connect with the database by using entity framework. So here with the Spring Boot integration, still more simplification has been done with the entity framework, that is JPA. We're not going to use with explicit persistence.xml file. The total configuration part has been simplified. Okay, the whole configuration you can write as part of your application.properties file. There is no more persistence.xml. In a pom.xml, we would be adding with the new dependency called Spring Boot Starter Data JPA. Once we add with, we are able to integrate with the entity framework. And this is for Spring Boot Starter Web is for your REST API development. And sometimes we also add with another dependency called as Spring Boot Dev Tools. This is nothing but whenever you do some changes with your code, whenever the build is going to be created automatically, we can add with the dev tools. You don't need to build the project again and again when you add the dev tools. Whenever you do some changes with any of the file, it is going to rebuild it. That's the purpose of dev tools. Next is to connect with the database. We are going to use with the dependency, Postgres dependency. As we know, any database we are going to connect with, we need a jar file to connect to the that particular database. If it is Oracle, Oracle 7. If it is MySQL, MySQL connector. Similarly for Postgres, we are going to use with Postgres connector. This is the dependencies we need. And then coming to the configuration part, as usual, ours is a Spring Boot application with a REST controller. So we have a Bootstrap application which is a Spring Boot code. And further we are going to write with a controller layer. So this is the REST controller we are going to use with. The class level annotation is going to be API v1. And further we would like to perform with all employee CRUD operations. Let's say you wanted to perform with the employee, adding of employee record, reading of one employee record, reading of all employees. Okay. Post mapping is for add a new record using request body. Put mapping is for update operation. Whatever employee ID you will send it, you can update it. And delete mapping is to delete the employee. So this is only the controller layer where we are getting a request from handler mapping. If we can look into the architecture, just I can, for the beginners it will be useful. First, in this Spring Boot application, you have got your application, that is Spring Boot application, which is a bootstrapping application, simple Java class. From there the request is coming to your controller. So this is a REST controller where we have mapped with the, okay, at get mapping. Get mapping is to perform read operations. Okay, at put mapping is for update operations. At post mapping is for adding your records, adding your one employee record into the database. At delete mapping is to perform delete operations. In the get we have get all operation and get for one particular employee based on the given employee ID. So this is what is the operations we are going to perform with our REST controller. So this REST controller has to be configured with the RESTful endpoints. So that endpoints are nothing but we are going to create with the HTTP colon localhost colon your server port number. Then after that you will be giving your endpoint. These endpoints are configured for every method of your controller. And further, as usual, we have a service layer and we have a DO layer. This DO is connecting to the database. So in the previous application, we are working with a static data in the DO. We created an array list. We are just populated with that. Okay. Now we are going to connect with the database. So we need an entity framework here. So we need a JPA integration. So to have with the JPA integration, your persistence related data source properties we need to be configured. In a core JPA application, we were writing all these configuration properties into persistence.xml file. Now we are not going to use at all because we have integrated with Spring Boot. So as we are working with the Spring Boot application, we are going to write all this configuration into application.properties file. So we are going to use with application.properties file, we can write all JPA related properties. And then we need to create with an entity class the table for which we have to insert, the table for which we have to perform with all CRUD operations. So that is the structure of our application. So here is the controller where we have configured for, just like a previous application, we have a get mapping of loading of all the employees. So we call repository and we will load all the employee details. Get one employee for a given employee ID. Add employee by using request body to pass employee object through your postman request to send the employee record. Put mapping, we will pass an employee ID so that for that particular employee we are going to update the employee details. Delete mapping, for a given employee ID we are going to delete it. Now here we are going to use with the service layer, and then here is service layer. Sorry, in this particular example service layer is not implemented directly, we are implementing with the repository, but we need to restructure this application by implementing service. So coming to the repository, so in the repository lot of change you can observe for compare with the previous application. So we are not going to implement any of the CRUD operations into our repository class, because at repository is an annotation we use Spring Boot specific, and the other important repository we are going to use is called JPA repository. JPA repository is a predefined class into our entity framework, which provides you all the implementations of your methods called find by ID, and then you will have save method, update method, delete methods. All these methods are by predefined, you will get it. So employee repository dot delete, employee repository dot find by ID, employee repository dot save. These are all predefined methods. We don't need to write any kind of implementation. Just your repository class should say that extend JPA repository. That's all. If any customization is needed other than the predefined methods of your repository like find by ID, you can observe what are all the other methods are possible. So you have a set of methods that all you can perform with save, count, okay, exist by, find all by given key, okay, then save, delete all, flush, okay. These all the operations are possible. Means all the database related operation, just like in entity manager, how do we perform with delete, update, read operations, all the methods are possible here by default without any implementation. But just you need to write in a repository class by extending your JPA repository. Pass the entity class name and the primary key data type. That's all. Now the minimal configuration is into application.properties. You need to write your data source properties. Just like in a persistence.xml, we used to write a Postgres URL, Postgres username, password, and then the dialect name, and then HBM to DDL auto should be update. And then at the end, the server in which your Spring Boot application is going to run, you need to give the port number. So I have started my application. It is running on the port number 8084. Now when I go here in the browser, when I check with the localhost 8084, so API by V1 is the convention we follow, and employees is the get URL to load all the employees available. So here we have employee 1 and then employee 3. Then how do we perform get by ID operation? When I give get by ID 1, we are going to load with only first employee. Similarly, third employee. Is the same data is persisted in the database? Let us go here. As we have configured with the database name is Postgres, so we would be connecting to the Postgres database. Here we are going to check with our table. So our table name is configured. We can observe into the entity class, that is employee class. Table name is employees. So let us check with the select star from employees. So here is the 2 records available. So we are able to retrieve only the 2 records from your get request. Now what are the other operations like post operation, delete operation, put operation we would practice with the Postman plugin. Now let us say I wanted to add with a one more employee. So for employee adding the same URL, if you can look into the controller, you can see the post request. So post mapping URL is also again employees. So we'll go here employees and pass one new employee details. As employee ID is primary key, using your repository, the primary key can be auto generated. So you don't need to pass it. So just we are passing the employee details. So here I am going to give a new employee Srikanth, and then I am going to give mail ID and just add one more record. So we have added with one more record. If you go here and check the data, it get persisted. At the same time, if you wanted to check with the get request, you can load with the employees. We are able to get the newly added record. Suppose for Srikanth, last name is Kumar. Instead of Kumar, I would like to change it. So put request. So we need to pass the employee ID 4 and I go to the body, and then here I'll change. Instead of Kumar, I can say Srikanth Verma. Then update. So it is going to update with the value what you have given with put request. In a similar fashion, delete request. If you go to the delete and if you say, let's say you wanted to delete the third record, send a request, delete request, second is deleted. Now if you go and check with the get request for all the employees, you can see the remaining employees available. Similarly, the same updated information you can observe here. 1 and 4 record will be there, third is deleted. This is how you can perform with all operations like addition of your employee with a post request, updation of your employee by using put request, deletion of employee with a delete request, and get request for loading of the data. So controller part, there is no change. As usual, you will use request body, response entity, and then your mapping methods like put mapping, get mapping, post mapping, etc. And there is no change in your Spring Boot application. Only the change you can observe here. We will write the Postgres related properties into application.properties file. We need to add with the newly required dependencies called Spring Boot Starter Data JPA, and then the Postgres connector. And then coming to the repository, lot of change you can observe. Most of the simplification has been done. You don't need to write anything unless until you need some customization in your query. How do we do the customization? I will give you in the next example. Today you just practice with integrating with the database to perform with the basic CRUD operations. If you are able to do this with successful connection with the database, the customization we can do during our Spring however we need. Just we have another annotation called @query, using which we can pass our own custom queries to this repository. That is the strength of JPA repository when coming with the integration with the Spring Boot. Whereas in core application, when we write a repository, we used to write the total customized methods for performing find all, remove all, update all, add all, right? But here it is not required. So this is what you can practice with, and you can always check with the database and look into the database properties. This is the properties I am using. That is only the request URL for database data source. Your database name is Postgres here, and the user ID password. Then you have to give with the dialect name and the properties needed and the server port. That's all about this Spring Boot CRUD operations. If you have